Dr. Ava Brown, CEO and founder of the Mango Girl, is a multi award winning international speaker, author, and transformation mindset business coach. Dr. Ava Eagle Brown coaches, trains, and speaks globally to help others to shift their mindset to change their lives and their businesses and ultimately affect their bottom line and the society at large. She proves that your past does not have to determine your future. She has mastered her mindset and loves to help others to do the same because she's been through so much, but she didn't let that destroy her. She is the author of her memoir, The Mango Girl, and calls herself the mangopreneur with a skin and hair care brand that has the same name. And this business can be found at www.themangogirl.com. Now, some of her recent exploits include starting this hair and skincare line called The Mango Girl, which came from the book with the same name. And Ava has moved from, a family that is technically illiterate to having this household name globally. Mindset shift is her biggest mantra, and she has shared the stage with the likes of global leaders such as Levi Roots, my favorite, Eric Thomas, Nick Vegisi, which I'm almost certain I got wrong, Hollywood's Shirley Ralph, Darren Mercer, and a whole bunch of others with influence and status. She has been featured in the papers such as Belfast Telegraph, um, other media houses such as the Financial Times, the Sunday Mirror, booksellers, BBC, London Live, Huffington Post, The Voice, newspaper, our very own TVJ, Sky TV, The Guardian, and so much more. Now, Dr. Ava has over 10 years of corporate experience in banking, retail management, and she also has experience teaching and experience in sales. But now she speaks mostly and train internationally on various subjects about mindset shift, mostly though, and helping people at various different walks of life to get out of the rut. She is the CEO and founder of Mango Girl Productions, which is a film coming out. She is from 2015 to current time a life and business coach, which is her employment. Now she's a self-employed life and business coach from 2015 to present. Some of her clients include the London Borough of Merton, Citibank, a whole bunch of different clients.
Hey, it's Dr. Ava Eagle Brown, life book and business strategist, but also the CEO and founder of the Mango Group. When I was asked to give a talk to the big virtual business conference, I was all too excited because I believe that I have something to share with the world that's different from the typical fashion of, business is amazing, business is great. I want to take you on the journey that I went on to get here because I really think that, especially in this moment, in this space and this time that we find ourselves in, we need to be able to not just say how we're here, but to show people how we're here. So let me fast track real quickly because you've seen my bio and I don't need to sit here and go over that. But I was born in Jamaica, a single mother to a single mother. I'm now a single mother, not really proud of it, but life happens. I live in the United Kingdom. I am an author. I love life. I am always excitable and exciting. I'm grateful. And so today I wanted to talk to you about how to use what's in your hands. I think, especially at the moment with COVID on us and the world being tipped on its head, and the most fashionable word at the moment is pivot. The last time I used that word was doing, playing in Jamaica as a girl, wing defense, and in the netball team at Sam Sharp Teachers College. So I'm a teacher. You would probably get that by me dropping those bits. And I literally learned pivoting from then. But I've been pivoting all my life. And I think a lot of you will be pivoting and have been pivoting and probably have not recognized that you have been pivoting. But more so now, your pivot is taking a different format. Your pivot is more around you using, in my opinion, what's in your hands. You see, since COVID came in March, or supposedly came in March, a number of us have been unstable in our jobs or relationships. Our lives have changed. And what we find, at least I have found with some of the clients I work with as a coach and a trainer and a speaker, is that a lot of people no longer are attached to their titles because they lost their jobs. Some people who are MDs have been made redundant because if companies are not profitable, then evidently we have to release people. And so what's happened to a lot of people around me in my space, the people I've come to know and work with, a number of them have had to start looking at another way. How can we do something differently in order to survive? Because if you know the story of the lion and the gazelle, they're both in the African safari and all they're trying to do is to survive. And they have to decide that they're either going to be hunted or they're going to be eaten, or they are going to become the hunter. And it's in this moment and in this time that we find ourselves, we have to decide that we're going to become the hunter or we will be hunted. And so that leads us to a space where we have to dig deeper within ourselves. We have to go to spaces and places that we never dreamt or even envisaged that we had. I think it was Bob Marley who said that we don't know how strong we are until the only option we have left is to be strong. And if there's a moment in our human life, in our human existence, that we've had to be strong, it is now. There are people doing things that they've never done before. There are people, thinking about starting businesses that they never have thought of before. There are people digging out skills and resources that they never even recognized they possessed. It is a different moment when we are all called to shift. And one of the things that COVID has done, it has literally made everybody equal. How many private jets were piled up on the runway, unable to move? We are all in one central place, and the world is at a reset. And while the world is at a reset, what better time for you to rebuild? I think there's a song that says, starting from the bottom, now we're here. We're all at the bottom, and we're all starting, and we're all rebuilding, and we're all having to pivot. So as a business leader, if you are, as a startup, as somebody who is thinking you are a wanapreneur, wherever you are on your journey, you could never be at a better time. Because everybody right now is called to be more, to do more, and to stand up for more. And so whilst I go through this talk around what's in your hands and how to utilize them, I'm going to be very practical. I'm going to be very simple. I'm going to be the girl next door because that's really who I am and that's how I operate. I keep it very simple. Keep it simple, stupid, because I want you to really understand. I want you to grasp. I want you to see how I maneuvered and how I navigated my journey. So when I sold mangoes on the train as a child in Jamaica, I didn't realize that those skills and those things I picked up along the way were going to come back to help me on my path right now. Because sometimes, especially if you're from a Caribbean background, there's certain things that we frown upon. There's certain things that we just don't do when we're a particular societal status. We don't do certain things. But right now, all of us are called to do certain things. We're called to find a way to pay our bills, to send our kids to school, to feed ourselves, to survive, to thrive. And so what's happened is we're all putting out skills that we never remembered we had. Things that we never thought of doing. Partnering with people we never thought of partnering. Looking for resourcefulness in places we've never looked before. And as we go through this space and time and we navigate where we are, we're all going to have to dig a little bit deeper. So what's in your hands require you that if you're starting up your business, don't just start with what's fashionable. Don't just start with doing what everybody else is doing. Instead, I want you to sit down and do an audit. Get a piece of paper, do a brainstorm. There's nothing as powerful as a brainstorm. A brainstorm literally put in the middle ideas. I want to start a business. And literally chisel that down to first thing you must look at, what are you good at? What are you good at? Are you good at customer service? Are you good at baking? Are you good at doing hair? Are you good at speaking? What are you good at? Look at what is profitable, because sometimes what you're good at is not profitable. I love to write, and I'm not saying it's not profitable, but there's some books I plan to write when I'm old and in my rocking chair. I don't plan to write them right now because they're not going to get me to where I really want to. So I wrote one particular book, which is called The Mango Girl, and I used that particular book to literally be the platform on which everything I do stands on. This speaking I'm doing is on The Mango Girl. My brand is on The Mango Girl. And I used that simple book, and I started a business. You see, what was in my hand at the time was my story. My story of how I grew up and didn't know who my father was. My story of my abuse. My story of my homelessness. My story, my literal life, my issues in my own tissues. I used them to start a business. What are your issues in your tissues? Because so often we don't realize that the things that we think are nothing, the things that we think, oh, whatever, nobody would listen to that, nobody would buy that, nobody would be keen on that, are the very things that people are actually craving for. I remember sitting down with Tanya Hamilton, one of the directors for Vampire Diary, Queen Sugar, Greenleaf, on the Oprah Winfrey Network, a really good friend of mine actually. She hails from Spanish Town. And I remember sitting down with Tanya in 2018, I think it was, or 2017 in London. I think we were at King's Cross at the train station, myself and David Ball, a BAFTA award-winning producer. And we were talking about my book, my life, my script, The Mango Girl. And Tanya said to me, we were talking about something. I can't remember what it was exactly, but it was something so trivial, something that I never thought was important. And she said, you see that right there, Ava? That's exactly what you need to put in the script. You see, those little nuances, those little things that you do not even think are relevant, those are the little bits that make the difference. The same thing goes for when you're doing your brainstorming. All of the ideas of all the things that you're really good at, the things that you like, the things that you think that are not so important, those might be where there's a gap. So the first thing is to get a piece of paper, brainstorm, put on all of your ideas, and then I want you to chisel them down to 5. Choose the 5 things, and the things you're going to choose are based on what you really enjoy doing, what is profitable, because that's important, where there's a gap, and where you have the resources to start. And this is for those who are thinking of starting, because there's absolutely no point in doing something you hate, something you can't afford to start, right? And there's not a gap. There's no need for it. It is saturated everywhere. And please find something that is not existing in where you live, your demographics, your geographical area. Find the least existing thing. Because when you find something that is different, that is new, you're going to realize that is where your sweet spot might be. So that is for those who are thinking of becoming entrepreneurs. For those who are currently in your business, you may be at the startup phase. COVID might have made you a little bit wobbly. You may have been profitable, but you're not so sure now. It is the moment for you to think about what value added you can add to your services or your offering. And that may not be just you. That may be looking at your staff, looking around your staff and asking yourself, what skill sets, what resources, what collateral your staff possess that could really add some value to your business, that could add something else to what you're trying to offer to expand your life cycle. Because right now, a number of businesses are failing, but you don't have to be. You've got to become innovative. You might have to downsize. You might need to pivot. You might need to revisit what you're offering and how you're offering. So for example, if you can't offer your services, so for example, we started out as e-commerce. And I was very big on that because I saw the likes of Amazon and eBay, and I loved how they played. And because I wanted to expand into the Caribbean, I was like, the only way to do this is e-commerce. And so when COVID came, it really impacted us in a way, but it did not, adversely knocked us out the ballpark because we were already e-commerce. And so we understood that pivoting for us needed to be that we had to be more seen, we had to be more heard, we had to start partnering with more people of influence and impact. And so we went on this massive campaign and we recruited a number of influencers and we partnered with them. So as business leaders, it's becoming innovative. And that really sent our business in a different direction, a different tangent. We're now partnering with some brands we never thought would have partnered with. We were featured in Vogue, British Vogue, Harper's Bazaar, The Telegraph. We won awards. I was just finalist in the Great British Entrepreneurship Award. And all of that came in COVID, because I literally started using what was in my hand, but I became innovative. You have to think outside of the box. You have to think outside of what you know as a business owner and leader. And you have to become the CEO now. And you have to be prepared to roll your sleeves up, and you have to be prepared to do aspects of the role and the business that you've never done before. So you may have to downsize your staff. And so there are some roles as the owner and MD and founder you're going to have to do. And that should be okay. Because when you want to survive, like the lion is in the safari, you're going to have to do what it takes to come up with the goods. You see, I used to manage a large retail supermarket in the UK. And 12 years ago, we were making £150,000 a week. I used to manage that. And I remember asking one of my staff to sweep the car park, and she was reluctant. And you guys, if you know me, you know me. There's nothing too big for me to do. Because if I'm going to own something or manage something, I'm going to demonstrate to you that I am the first person who understands how to do it. So when I ask you, you can do it. And so as a leader, you're going to have to roll your sleeves up and go into that car park like I did and sweep it. So the next time you ask your staff to do it, they do it without hesitation. But right now is the time when resources are low. And you might have to start doubling up on some of the work you do as the owner of your own establishment if you want to survive. So that's for you business leaders who are existing. For those who are in business and you are struggling and you are about to topple over, I want to say to you, it is the moment to literally think of partnerships. As a matter of fact, that goes for startups and existing businesses. And this goes for everybody watching this, even those with the ideas in your head. Right now, if you're at the ideation stage, it is a time to start thinking about who else can I partner with so that I can actually be stronger than if I went alone. Because what you're going to find is that if somebody else has a different level of skill sets and you join them, you're going to be stronger. But of course, do your due diligence, because that is fundamentally important in business. Because you don't want to go into bed with people who you can't get on with, who got bad credit, who don't have any innovative ideas, who don't want to work. You have to do your due diligence to ensure that the persons you're going into bed with, in business I mean, you are actually compatible. So going back to partnerships, you're going to have to start thinking of partnerships, because partnerships are a stronger way to survive this economy. We're going in a very new digital age. The way business is done is going to be different, has started to be different. We're going to have to think wider, bigger. We're going to have to actually become an out-of-body experience for ourselves. And when I talk to my clients and my friends and my peers, I have this saying that I use for myself, that it's now the moment where we're going to have to stretch our arms so far that it hurts. Because what you desire is there. It's on the other side of the ravine, but you're going to have to scale it. And so what's in your hands require that you're going to have to pull out all of the things you know how to do. Are you good at accounting? Maybe you have to reduce the accounting people in your staff and say, look, I can't give you the full week, but I can give you 2 days, because obviously you're going to be ethical and you're going to practice corporate social responsibility, and you're going to be integrity within integrity. You're going to be somebody who's going to care about your staff enough to understand that rather than cutting your accountant for the whole 5 days, you're going to cut him down to 3 days because you're going to do some of the accounting. What's in your hands mean that you're going to have to decide that rather than paying for the massive printing because you can't afford it right now, you're going to buy a printer in-house and you're going to teach one of your admin person to do the printing. So you're going to have to cut down on some of that. What's in your hands now mean that you're going to have to find something else to make up for survival. So if you actually have a restaurant and you are just doing takeaway, you might have to start baking Christmas cakes and special occasion cakes. And you're going to have to start doing, parties and conferences and stuff that you never used to do. You're going to have to start introducing something new on the menu. It's COVID time, and I have a client in the UK, and I'm working with her. And I said to her, girl, you're into juicing. You want to start a business about juicing. Now is the moment. How about boosting your immune system juices? And I can see somebody right there thinking, yes, 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 girl, I'm going to start a juice bar. Yes, you can start a juice bar. But why not start? And I'm giving somebody a business idea here. I don't know who want to take it. You might be in the Caribbean, wherever you are. There's so many natural herbs and spices and fruits and vegetables and leaves and whatever around you, because right now is the moment for us to go back to nature. And I grew up in the Caribbean where my grandmother and my mother would give us bush for everything. Of course we complained, but now I'm doing a shot every morning. I'm doing ginger every morning, an apple every morning, and I'm literally just giving my children shot because I realize the importance of those things. So if you have a restaurant, why not start offering immune boost in the morning? Yes, yes, yes. I can see somebody picking up that pearl. Man, I'm going to come to you for my piece of the pie. Why not start doing detoxing? Immune system boost. It is now the time when everybody's conscious about the immune system, what goes into their body, how they prevent COVID. It's the moment. It's a global thing. So it's not even like, well, we don't get the flus much in the Caribbean. Guess what? Everybody has COVID, or it exists in every country, rather. I apologize. It's everywhere according to what they say. Take it or leave it. COVID is everywhere. It's global. So why not start a business around all of this COVID thing, even if it's temporary? Because when you get in there early and you milk it, you just rinse and repeat it. And that's what I tell my clients to do all the time. Rinse and repeat it. So if you are in a business right now where you need to pivot, you need to think about what you're good at. How can you get resources and equipment and materials? Because right now with China not delivering as much, or some people not buying as much from China, for example, and resources globally are harder to get. I know that because I run my own company. It's a time to look around you and look in your backyard. And I don't mean your physical backyard, but sometimes even your physical backyard, yes. Your physical backyard. Look into your backyard. Look at the resources that you can actually find readily available around you and see how you can literally multiply, amplify, and monetize. You see, it might be the moment. What's in your hands mean that rather than selling mass things for small money, you might need to narrow down to sell less things for a higher value. It's a time for you to look around and look at your client offering, your client avatar. Who are you really targeting? Are they the right clientele? Because right now, clientele has shifted in COVID. The good thing for us is that we sell body products, hair products. You're always moisturizing. You're always looking after your skin, your hair. So we're into the business of everyday thing. Now, people might not be buying them as often, but they still are buying. People are always eating. No matter what's going on, we're eating. We become more conscious about what goes into our bodies, and we're also watching a lot of content. So if you've been made redundant, are you a content creator? There are spaces and places like Fiverr. You can go on there and sell your skill set. There's people per hour. There's Elance and freelance and so many other platforms that part of what you might need to do in order to pay the mortgage is to go and freelance online. Are you an architect not getting enough drawings? How about going online and drawing things for people digitally? You see, we're going into an e-world and you need to keep up with it. You need to be part of that experience. Because staying a dinosaur is not going to help us. And I know that there are lots of persons, I work with them every day. Some of my clients, I'm not saying these are they, oh my God, no. But I work with banks like, Ulster Bank and Lloyds Bank. And I work with NatWest, and I work with HSBC, Citibank. Recently, I was working with the British Business Bank. I work with Santander. I sit on a steering committee for them. You know, I'm actually involved with a lot of different clients. I work with the ordinary person who's just starting a business. And one of the things I find throughout the whole plateau, whether it's the bank or it's just my client, is that there are a lot of people who are dinosaurs right now. They are in that era and they don't want to shift because they're afraid of change. Well, I'm here to say to you, we have never seen such change so rapidly as we're seeing now. And the two things I grew up in St. Elizabeth understanding from my POB teacher, God bless him, is that change is something that's guaranteed. Change is guaranteed, you know, and debt. There are two guaranteed things. Change is constant. We're always changing. We're always evolving. And the universe responds to movement. So when you are ready to move, then the universe is going to move with you. When you are ready to shift and change and thrive, you're going to be thriving because you're ready. God will answer you. You'll be answered because you're wherever your energy flows, the actions are going to start taking place. So choose where you're putting your action, choose where you're putting your energy. And for those of us who are in this space where we are stuck, we're in that rut of life, we're not sure what to do with ourselves, we're not sure what to go, we want to start a business, I want to say to you, look at your why. Why do you want to start a business? Simon Sinek has an amazing book. It's about £10 on Amazon. And I know Amazon delivers all over the world. They made 13 billion in one day. Just clear my throat for that. 13 billion. What does that tell you? E-commerce. E-commerce is the way to go. And let me tell you something. Not everybody will go to Amazon. There's a marketplace for everybody. With good marketing, your brand will do well. Take it from me. Good scripting, good marketing. I'm going to come to that in a minute. Good scripting, good marketing, good. I'm going to come back to that. So e-commerce is a great way to go. So Simon Sinek has a book that says start with why. You need to understand your why. It's very important, which leads me to the next point. If you're stuck in the rut and you're thinking of starting a business, these are some of the things that you must have. And if you have a business already and you don't have them, you need to go back and recalibrate, rejuvenate what you're doing, because that might just bring clients to you. You need to have good copy. What do I mean by good copy? You know that you don't know the language that people need to hear to send them to buy or to invest in your skills or your services or your goods. So you need to get a good copywriter. You can get them all over the platforms I listed earlier. Any Fiverr, people per hour, Elance, freelance, but please make sure that you don't go for the cheapest option and you vet properly. So good copy, good website is really, really important. A good website is your shopfront. It shows, and if you don't believe me, go and look at ours, themangogirl.com. It's really, and it's not even where we want it to be yet, but it's a really good shopfront. Your website is your shopfront. Make sure you've got good copy, good website, right? You've got excellent customer service. And that's really top of the list. You have to be there. You have to offer something different. If you're offering products, can you give samples to people? Right? Can you make something different? I just bought some labels and I got a pot of hot pepper sauce as an extra. That's what's in your hands. Can you, if you're offering, I don't know, I'm just going to think randomly, if you're selling cushions and pillows to somebody, right? Can you put inside of that, you know, I don't know, are you a good baker? Can you make brownies and make sure they're right? Can you make cookies? Are you selling combs and hair products? Can you give somebody a little bit of a moisturizer? You know, something, a little shampoo or conditioner? I don't know. I'm just thinking of the back. Do you sell candles? Can you give me a bottle of essential oils? It's going that extra mile. Can you make that essential oil for me? Can you do something extra for me? What can you give of value, that value added to your clients to make them feel like, oh, I'm going to go back to the shop with that person because they actually cared about me enough to give me more. Those are some of the things that we need to start thinking about. We need to start going outside of the box. We need to understand that everything we need is inside of us. That God gave us these hands. I have not so pretty hands. These are worked hands, you all. I was up last night making body butter 200. I went to bed at 12. I work hard. I play hard. I'm a single girl. And I just throw myself into work. And I'm okay with that, right? I'm okay with that. I'm just using what's in my hands, right? I'm okay with that because the right person will show up at the right time. But I want to say to you that the gifts that you have in your hand sometimes cannot come to manifestation until you are ready to say, open them and say, I am ready. Look deeper. Sometimes we're looking too far instead of looking deeper. I love The Lion King, one of my favorite cartoons. And that moment when I think it was Rafiki had Simba at the water and he's trying to talk to his father and he said, I can't see him or something like that. He said, look deeper. He lives within you. The things you need to pivot are within you. The things you need to thrive in this moment are within you. All you need is around you. All you need is around you. You have everything you need and more. You have to just be ready and willing to say, it doesn't matter where I'm at. It doesn't matter what I've been through. It doesn't matter what I've lost. Trust me, I've lost houses. I've lost money. I'm writing a book right now called The Release Journey, which is talking about, the release journal. It's so I've just been fortunate enough. And again, let me just get my thoughts together here. Let's talk about what's in your hands. I've just been offered a podcast that's going to go out to 2 million people. I recorded my first series 2 weeks ago. It comes out Thanksgiving, right? And it's called Pain to Purpose. It's in New York and it goes all over the world. But what am I using? I'm using my pain, my sexual abuse. I'm using my divorce. I'm using my homelessness. I'm using all of my life story. I'm writing a poetry book right now called 38 Places I Laid My Head, talking about how many times I've moved in my life. I'm using what's in my hands. And let me tell you something, talking to you right now, me being able to come to you is because I've been using what's in my hands. So if I can use what's in my hands and I'm having these conversations and these opportunities, have you thought about what you could do, who you could be, who you're called to be even? Have you got a story to tell? Do you have a story to tell? Because a book is a great platform. It's a great start to a business. Have you got a book in you that, like me, you want to use to start a business? Or have you got a business? Are you a business person? Are you in academia and you don't have a book? If you do not have a book and you're watching me right now, you are leaving money on the table. So I want to start a book course in January. And I'm inviting those of you who are on here who've watched this. And let me say something. Don't just watch this. Invite your business bestie to come along. I want to start a book course in January where I want to work with a group of people to write their books over 8 weeks. Yes, you don't need more than 8 weeks. And use that book to be a value-added thing. It's what's in your hands. Whatever comes out of your head into that book is what's in your hands. So how many times somebody said to you, girl, how did you do your eyebrow? And you've been repeating it every day for free. It's time to write a book. How many times somebody said, girl, how did you iron your dress like that? I know that's very simple. Who irons anymore, right? But yes. How many times somebody said to you, girl, how did you do that thing again? How did you make that cushion? How did you do this? How did you do that? Whenever people start asking you how, it is time to write a book. So if you're ready to write the book and start using what's in your hands, or if you're ready to have a conversation, Ava, I heard you, I listened to you, I want you to show me how. I have a business I started in my kitchen. Very simple business in my kitchen. This is an old tin, themangogirl.com. I started it in my kitchen a year ago. And today, I actually have my own brand. There you are. And there are several more pieces around here. And it's now my own brand. Like The Mango Girl. That's my book. But I used the book and I started a business that sells products globally, a business that's looking to partner with people in Jamaica. I want to open my own factory there in the Caribbean. That's book to business. I started with what's in my hand. I got divorced and I was depressed. And so I started making body butters, literally, as therapy. And then I sat in a meeting at the Royal Bank of Scotland and they were talking about starting this crowdfunding campaign. And I was like, I'm going to go for that. And I said to everybody at the table, you see, sometimes what's in your hands require you to do the ask. There is power in asking. And I said to everybody at the table, I need you to promise me you're going to sponsor me. And if you will sponsor me, I'm going to do this. And that's exactly what happened. And I started on 4,000 something pounds. I can't tell you how much we're valued today. Recently, we had a delivery. It was a whole pallet. A year later. It takes starting. And I'm not going to sit here and tell you that the start is easy and it's a walk in the park, because it's not. A business owner is a very lonely path. But you can create mastermind. I run masterminds all the time where I keep you all together, keep you accountable. Let's have the conversations. You know, business is lonely. It's a very lonely place. You know, understanding the jargons and navigating it, especially in this world, can be challenging, but it's also possible. So I'd love to have a conversation with you to join my book class for January. Applications are open. There's an early bird offering. Or if you want to do one-to-one coaching, I actually do that. VIP as well. I do master classes. I'd love to hear from you. So drop me an email. It's info@avabrown.org. I'd love to hear from you. But let me say this before I go. This can only be useful if you take action. So every speaker you listen to here, make sure you come with your notepad and you write the notes, the takeaways. But don't just write them, because you can be hoorah and excited and motivated and inspired. If you don't take massive action, then you'd have wasted your time. And for me, my time is the most valuable asset I have. I'm very economical with it. I choose who I give it to, because I understood that no is a complete sentence and I use it very well. So don't just show up here, look at my beautiful face, I know, and do not take action. Because I don't like to waste my time, and you shouldn't waste yours either. So take your time valuable. Start using what's in your hands. Thank you so much for listening and watching. It's Dr. Ava Brown, and I look forward to connecting with you real soon.